I liked definitely all together is all one. Being at the Harns, being with the Harns at their house, and like going water skiing and tubing because I've never done that before.
Okay, so I had to narrow it down, but so my top places slash things of the trip were, one, when we went to Bend, Oregon. It was a really cool town, and we did the floating river and stuff. And especially when we went to the lava rock thing, and we walked up to the lava buttes, and then we stood at the very top, and from that view you could see like 4 of like the volcanoes in the Cascade Range in a row in the distance, and they were all snowy and stuff, and it looked really cool.
Bend, Oregon, and all the activities that we did around there. Like Nicole, I think she said the river floating, and the whole town is pretty cool.
One was the day we went with the Harns, specifically when Scott pulled Carol and me and Florencia and Griffin on the inner tube, and then Griffin got up, and then Scott pulled us so fast and so hard that Carol and Florencia and I flipped out. That was fun.
The second one would probably be all of being in Sun Valley, just being with everyone. Like after a really long trip of not seeing people, it's nice to see familiar faces, and then going ice skating or going swimming at the YMCA, and all that was really fun.
The second thing was being in Lake Oswego / Portland with the Harns, and I didn't realize how pretty it was until we were there and out on the lake with them, and it was really fun, a lot funner than I expected it, and then I really enjoyed being there with them.
The drive from Coeur d'Alene and Sandpoint, which were also gorgeous and mean on the lakes, but the drive from there to McCall through the canyon, I wasn't quite sure if it was Hell's Canyon or not, but that was one of the most beautiful drives that I've ever done.
One was the drive we spent driving up the North Cascades from our campground. What was the name of that town we were at?
New Halem.
We were at New Halem. We camped in New Halem and took a day trip up to the top of the North Cascades, and that was quite memorable. Took some nice pictures at the top.
And the third one would probably be, even though there wasn't much to see there, North Cascades were really cool because I didn't really know they were there, and they were so spectacular, and they were really cool. So.
Also Seattle, of course, because it was one of the big cities we were on the trip, and I always like being in a city, and we only went once, and so I got to know it better. And the plane. Is this car blocking our view? Okay, and the plane tour was really cool.
Yes, the views on the North Cascades were incredible.
The other was what Florencia said, the trip from Sandpoint. We took an all-day drive down the middle of Idaho. I believe it was Interstate 95, not Interstate, it was a Highway 95, it was all highway, and we went through Coeur d'Alene, and then we went through high plains. I think they were called Camas Fields or Camas Plains, and then we went through a canyon, a deep canyon where there was the Salmon River, and we went past these little towns where they specialize in inner tubing and rafting and kayaking, and then we were up at the high canyon above where White Point was, or White Bird, and eventually got to McCall and spent the night at McCall.
Being in Coeur d'Alene / Sandpoint in Idaho at our campground was in between both of them, and they were really cool, like lake towns, and it was really fun.
The two things we didn't get to do, which I really wanted to do, were go to Fort Clatsop in Oregon and go to the Nez Perce National Historic Site in Idaho. We actually did go to both. Fort Clatsop we got there for 5 minutes, and Nez Perce we got there for 10 minutes.
I wish we would have spent more time in the rainforest too, in Olympic National Park. We didn't see enough, but I loved the run that you and I did in the Olympic. I liked everything. How about Ashland with Tia and being in her little farm and all that stuff? Okay, everything.